Welcome back, everybody. Fire here with another TWLD broadcast this time. It's over a squad matchup between Asians versus Syne for round 3 of TWLDs. Played on a Saturday. I don't know why I was even up for this, but I was there, so I might as well record it and cast it. So let me go ahead and get this started. Barely got in time, and just right before the match started, wanted to change some settings. I'm testing out a bigger resolution on 1280. Okay, so I'm testing out bigger resolution on 1280 and see how that goes. Yeah, so, or actually it's at 1920 right now, but I think I'm not sure if I do get kicked out or whatnot, but if I do, then we'll switch gears. But anyhow, I'm expecting a couple of players to do well. Zagus, I've been just seeing a couple of DDs of his personally, and he's been doing okay. Syne, definitely expect a breakout year for him. Okay, so hopefully, he can. I don't have to eat my words, and he can fulfill what I'm looking at. I haven't seen his game since the actual replay, but even then, I wasn't really there because I just kind of left it on a couple people, and I was doing something else at the time, just because I was actually reading Bloomberg, so checking up on stocks. So I didn't really have time to kind of just track and actively follow people like I usually do. Right in between both players. So I kind of leave it on ship, so we'll see how that style treats everybody. Now I pan over to 1280. Here we go. Here's a better resolution, 1280, just because I did not know, or I got kicked out on 1920. I totally forgot the resolution because it was last minute. I just signed on, and so I forgot to take the 1440 profile. Oh, Syne picking off Rob D, and here we go. So see speed kills going after monsters, and MITB leading the pack. MITB with astounding 5 and 2. A lot of monster where out of 1 and 4, Empion 2 and 2. Augur at 2 and 2, and so here we go. Zagus is cutting across and Harder trying to snipe him. So good play. So good play with the Harder, knowing that Zagus is gonna obviously stop one way or another, or stop eventually, and so he's predicting when he's gonna stop. So good lob there, just to anticipate the fact that he knew that there's gonna be stoppage somewhere there. So Syne there trying to pick off. Oh, barely dueling with Rob D, gets out of the way. And here we go. A lot of action, a lot of deaths, a lot of things going, and Augur almost trying to get the spawn reverse kill, on the enemy. So and then here we go. Harder switching back to Empion, shooting down, and I'm kind of right now just seeing what everyone's doing, just giving everyone a little bit of FaceTime, just because with this 12 was resolution at 1280, that's a lot less than 1920, where I can just sit back and kind of see multiple people at once, doing multiple things across the map. But in this case, as you guys can see, you only see one thing at a time, and being that I wasn't, my fingers weren't up to micro, record a game yet, so we just have to kind of deal with it. So we'll see what happens. You see the random shifts back to players, and we've seen Wage come in with Syne, and it looks like Harder's trying to run, and no, Empion disappointing 2 and 5. Harder with the 3 and 6. MITB again 5 and 2. Syne leading 5 and 1, just died 5 and 2, and then Zagus with the 5-4, and Wage just broke the goose egg with 4 and died, so now he's 4 and 1. And Augur, you got to be able to hit those shots. Those are straight shots. I mean, those are basically. You don't even have to aim or try to anticipate, because the enemy is going to try to dodge back and go for it. That split-second standard dodge procedure. So just shoot straight. The question is whether you want to. It's timing. So you don't want to shoot right when he presses back. So you kind of wait, or you shoot earlier before, out of your comfort zone. So instead of thinking about, okay, let me get my fingers ready, let me get everything focused, you want to shoot. Try to gain that advantage, and it applies in every league. Jabs, spiders, or basing. If you have quicker reflexes and you're able to fire faster, it's obvious that you're going to get the kill. So the faster you are, the better you are. So try to work on that. Not necessarily the aim itself, but trying to fire straight or fire with precision quicker without have your eyes shift quicker without that delay. And you're going to see a lot more kills. Definitely a lot more kills. And for Warbirds, yeah, it's been a while. It's great casting one. It's been a while. I did play back in seasons like 1, 3, 4, and after that went off to college. So this was way back when, and definitely dominated then. And it's a lot of fun now, kind of watching instead of playing. When you're playing, it's not really all that great because you're seeing a bunch of asteroids in space. and that's it. So it's a lot. It's skill. It's a game based on, I guess, more skill because you're stripping away all the elements. You're going straight one-on-one ship dueling, but it does get stale over time. And so you're starting to see a lot of other players, transition to basing and jabs. I mean, that's why basing came alive. For those who don't know, back then Warbird was the only league, running. It was the only league going. Actually, it was the only league that anyone thought of anything about Trench Wars. There was no basing, there was no BDs, there was no LBs, there wasn't even JDs. So it was straight 5-on-5 Warbirds, and that was that. There wasn't even 4-on-4, that option for a 4-on-4 yet back then. So what happened was, there was a period of dominance, kind of like with Thunder over jabs and dice with LB, but you're looking at Warbird, but either TWLD, Siege, Elusive. You've seen those. Basically a couple teams just dominate across the board. Final for a period of time in the off season. So yeah, you're seeing those teams kind of dominate. So a lot of people decided to instead of having only a couple people have fun or basically run the game, basing was created. Okay, so basing was created out of that, and jabs soon followed. So jabs and basing basically formed after about a few seasons after, or a couple months after season 2 and 3. Just the idea or the thought of getting things going, and we're now today seeing basing as probably the more popular, just because you can encompass more players, and when you see more players on the screen, it's more like teamwork involved and there's more invested. So it's great. So I think base is a lot of fun. We still have I think jabs and Warbirds with the niche market, niche crowd. You're seeing right now Agents and Syne 41-26. I'm not really even talking about the game so much anymore because the game's already done. But I do know some of you guys have always been asking me, about the history of Trench Wars, the history of how things were back in the day. Since there aren't that many players that are still playing since I started, maybe a handful. And I don't know. I've just been doing been invested a lot in the zone, and it sucks to see a game like this die out so slowly. You see like a radical shift. I mean, it's kind of like injuries or people getting like Shaq. You're seeing a radical a drop in his play just because at a certain point age does take its toll, and the past couple of TWL seasons have been disappointing. And for a player like me, even though I don't really care too much about the gameplay anymore, but just because I invested a lot of my time with this game among many other activities, but of all the other activities, which I always tell my friends, I always tell them I love this game called Subspace, and they're like, what the hell, man? I mean, how do you have time? But I tell them you create time, because if you want something, you create time for it. But anyhow, doing what I can to get replays, commentaries, more awareness, and everyone loves being on camera. I'm pretty sure Syne loves seeing himself 16-3, and me just kind of watching him talking about it and showing and highlighting that he's an up-and-coming Warbird. So I expect him to kind of not get a 16-3 in the next matchup, obviously, but something comparable or something close enough to say it's not a one-game fluke. Okay, so that's kind of it for now. You're seeing Syne taking a 16-3. You're seeing Asians defeating Syne 50-30 by 20 points or 20 kills. And until next time, hope you guys like the broadcast. Subscribe if you follow Trench Wars or play it actively. And I guess, like I said, until next time, boys, and everybody, girls, players, everybody, grandmas, grandpas, this is Fiery Fire and FF out with another TWLD broadcast.